Hey y'all, you're listening to the What Would She Think podcast. I'm Danny.
And I'm Angie.
We're a mother and daughter duo, and we look forward to sharing the parallels on our life experiences.
Join us as we learn more about our views on how life has taken us on a wild ride.
This podcast is made to offer listeners a safe place to understand and discuss all the non-traditional new roles and breaking generational traumas. How we managed to turn our mother and daughter relationship from barely surviving
To thriving.
Love you.
Welcome. Into today's episode, we'll be discussing strict parents.
Well, we've all known of a friend who'd had strict parents. But I think there could be a fine line between strict parents and controlling parents.
Yeah.
Which one have I fit in?
Controlling.
Oh, jeez. I used to be or I'm...
Used to be.
Okay. Big relief.
Not anymore.
Okay.
It stopped a few years ago.
So I used to be controlling. You think that's like when you started being a teenager and having your own...
Once I started having my own, my thing. Like, my separate thing.
Like your personal taste.
Yeah.
So, basically, I mean... So when you think of a parent, you know, having a say in your personal taste, that's kind of tricky. When we think of personal taste, we think of clothes and body choices and hobbies. But do you think a parent should really have that much say in your personal taste? I mean, it's literally called personal taste. Do you think that's where most parents kind of start stumbling when they start trying to tell their kid what they should or shouldn't like as far as the type of clothes that they wear or
hobbies?
Like, oh my gosh, I remember I really wanted you to play with dolls and you hated playing with dolls.
Yeah.
Or drawing. I really wanted, because you were so good at it.
I was good at it, but it was a lot. It was a lot because I am OCD and like a control freak when it comes to...
Like a perfectionist. You wanted it to be...
I wanted it to be perfect. So I think that's why why I think I hear I'm good at it. I don't personally think I'm good at it, but I do hear people say I am.
Yeah. You're a very good artist.
I also critique myself a lot. So.
You have a good eye for things, which is your personal taste. Wow.
I never really felt that you actually pressured me to like certain things. I mean, now I definitely don't. But even before, I never really felt that you would push Barbies onto me. You would just kind of ask.
I hoped you would play with Barbies, but you weren't really interested.
No, I thought they were creepy.
Yeah. I feel that about like the porcelain dolls with the porcelain faces. I still remember a sleepover that I went to when I was a little kid. And in that house, they had like a whole wall rack full of creepy dolls. Okay, but that's another topic. So, personal taste. We think personal taste is the clothes we wear. So I know as a mom, I definitely don't want you wearing anything provocative, anything that's showing too much.
There's a limit, which is just common sense.
You would think.
Good point. But I don't think I mean, yeah, I hear like, oh, don't wear that this time. Or especially for certain things.
Like a time and a place for a certain type of outfit.
So I never felt that you controlled my style. But my partner has felt that by a parent. And I see how difficult it is to be able to express yourself, because you do express yourself through clothing and what you wear.
Yeah, it's an extension of your personality.
Exactly. So that even being messed with by a parent figure or anybody can be really hard because you're not being able to express yourself.
Yeah. Your partner has the most amazing style ever. Like, hands down, top notch. Like, epic. But it is based on personality.
And it's gone as far as like name calling and,
Oh, that's not good.
yeah.
So being called names from anybody is hard, but especially when it has to do with something of your personality, I feel like that's just like a low blow.
Definitely a low blow.
So we as parents definitely want, I guess we see something sometimes of like there's a time and a place for things, right? So there's like if people go to church or people have to go to like an office or like a doctor's appointment, then obviously, you don't want to be just like dressed down or too dressed up or,
Yeah.
whatever the case is. But I think that it definitely has to be very, it's like a fine thread. Like you really have to be careful as a parent how you critique a child if you want to give your opinion, but not to control.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you mean.
Like there's a difference between sharing an opinion of
Maybe not to this place.
maybe not to this place, it looks great, but maybe the situation is not the time to wear it, or there's a dress code at this kind of place.
It's kind of like if you were to go to a funeral, you wouldn't go in like a
neon colors, right?
Yeah.
Or a wedding, you wouldn't wear
White.
white. So there's some known rules when it comes to clothing, but I think it has to be very, you have to be careful because you can give your opinion, but you shouldn't try to control what your child is expressing because it's literally a form of their personality.
An extension.
An extension. You're expressing yourself. It's like art.
Yeah. I see that. I think that's why people like fashion design and stuff
And why
like that.
people have different styles. Some people dress very sporty if they have more of a sporty personality. Some people
just business casual.
business
all the time.
casual if they have a more business casually type of vibe.
Probably.
I don't know what other words are, but
you actually used to dress very business casual.
When I was a business manager, that was more of my persona. Now I'm
No, even like out, like obviously when you had that job, but
yeah, I loved dressing up.
you loved it.
I did.
You've always loved it. You stopped.
I stopped. You know what? I really do feel a vibe when I dress like punky and grungy, when I wear my Doc Martens and some like flannel and like some black jeans or shorts. Like, yeah, that's a vibe.
Oh
And
my
as much purple
God.
as I can. My purple hair. I wish I had a purple lipstick. That would be awesome.
You have like 3.
Okay,
Well,
so I
a
do.
good one. You mean a good one?
Yeah, the one I have is a little too dark. But so let me try to think of when I was growing up. So when I was growing up, I don't think my parents controlled. I mean, from the understandably, you can't wear something too revealing, and sometimes we need to be called out on, hey, you're showing too much boob or your shorts are too short. But I think
Yeah.
that comes from more just trying to protect our children, especially our daughters, our girls, in the world that we live in. Because sadly, unfortunately, there's a lot of, well, she was wearing this, so she was expecting this kind of attention. It's like, well, you can also just feel confident in yourself that you feel,
Yeah.
that you feel good wearing something.
And a lot of the time, it has nothing to do with what they're wearing.
Yeah. And yeah, but the girl will always get blamed.
Yeah. Goodness.
That's another topic. That's another episode. Okay, so we talk about a parent control. Well, okay, let's step it back. Being strict on what we wear. What about body choices? I know I've talked to you about like, the piercings and tattoos, and I expressed how I'm for it, but I just want you to at least wait till you're 18 when you're legal.
Which is understandable, because what if I really got a tattoo, I want to know. I'm not for sure I'm still going to be like in the same place with it in 10 years.
Yeah.
So
because a person
making
evolves.
a permanent choice on your body, you wanting me to wait till I'm 18, which is understandable, because I'm going to be the only one to blame.
Yes. That will be your choice.
You. Yeah.
And it will be because it's your body.
Yeah.
So we also talk about hobbies. So how you spend your time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so if I tried controlling, or okay, I keep saying controlling, but they're two different things. There's a parent being strict
And controlling.
and expecting, you to be involved in certain things, whether it's sports or academic activities like certain clubs in school. Like if a
Soccer.
parent like really pushes, I know there's different cultures where, the parents are a lot stricter. I
Yeah.
luckily didn't have to experience that, but I know there's some people out there who have experienced their parents being very, their expectations being so high that it
Because
is,
the culture or ethnicity or something like that.
or like they are just like they really want you to play a certain sport,
Mm.
or they really want you to be involved in this club in school. And
It usually comes with like really high parents. Like if your parents did that for like a really long time and it was the best time in their life.
like a legacy. Well, okay.
Yeah, especially like a legacy.
So you just said something right now. They were happy doing it. So if a parent feels that they know what's going to make you happy, I think where does that fall under? Does that fall under a strict parent or a controlling parent?
Controlling parent.
Yeah.
Because they're not understanding how you feel about it.
Yeah, it'd be like if I told you you had to be an artist like me and you had to,
Continue on the legacy.
continue on the legacy of drawing and painting. Like that would suck.
Yeah. Forcing anyone to do anything that they aren't happy with is already sucks.
Yeah. But when it comes from a parent and basically you live in their house and their, by their rules, that's where the strictness comes from, right?
Yeah. I think because they like feeling that power sometimes.
Ooh, that's
The control.
that's another layer of where parents, like the really strict parents, where that comes from.
Yeah. And that doesn't get any better the older you get because the
Mm,
older you get, the more in control you want to be and the more in control you can be once you turn 18.
oh yeah, talking about strict parents, I wasn't only talking about as you're a minor under 18.
Yeah.
If you're raised by strict parents, you obviously grow up and they might still try to be just as strict.
Mhm.
So I remember growing up, and every year or so, I remember my parents telling me, okay, you're getting this much more freedom. We're basically loosening the reins on our strictness, right?
Yeah.
So as we got older each year, we had more responsibilities for ourselves, and they were, teaching us to be responsible.
Adults.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So as you get older, how it should be, I think, is that way, where you grow up with certain rules, and as you're getting older, closer to an adult age, then the rules become less because you're being more responsible for yourself if you were raised correctly, right?
Mhm.
That's the idea.
Yeah. That's,
So, but
that's
when
not.
you grow up past 18 and the parents are still trying to, at that point, it's not a strict parent, it's a controlling parent, right?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to tell you how to live your life and you're now an adult.
Completely.
That would not be.
I wouldn't listen. I would not listen if you told me what to do and I had my own place and I'm like in school and all of that. No offense, but I wouldn't listen.
Well, you
Sometimes
wouldn't listen
there's,
if you disagreed. If you agreed, you would obviously.
yeah, to a certain extent. If you're right, if you're in the right, yeah, obviously I'm gonna listen. But when you're saying it to be just controlling or saying it just,
With something you don't agree with.
yeah, I'm not gonna listen. Especially if I have my own, I have the freedom to make my own decisions
As an adult.
as an adult.
Yeah. A parent, I don't think. So, as a parent to you now, which you're 15 and
16?
then 16 and then 17 and
You only got 8
18,
months.
it's getting closer and closer, right? So
Yeah.
we will start, reevaluating each year. Okay, You're becoming more responsible for yourself. You need to do all this. But
But you,
to tell you what to do once you're 18, I think I would have hoped that I raised you with enough good habits that you would continue what you're supposed to do past 18
yeah,
because it's out of my hands, right?
yeah.
This podcast is funded by buymeacoffee.com/twistofviolet.
With a membership, you will have access to exclusive content, behind the scenes, and a bonus video podcast a month. But even though I will be an adult, I will still continue on having common sense of don't break the law, don't do anything crazy.
We all hope.
I will.
Yes, we hope you do. We can't speak for the future, but yes, we hope you do. So, as far as a parent controlling an adult who's their child, because at that point it's an adult,
Yeah.
do you think a parent should have any say in your like future plans? Like, you know,
like college.
like, that high expectation of you need to go to college because I say you need to go.
So, I don't think we've had the college talk. I mean, we briefly have. I mean, you haven't really tried to control me. But I have had the college talk with another parent of mine. And I have gotten told either you go to college or you're joining the military. And I would be like confused because me and you have the relationship where we're like, we don't necessarily try and control anything past 18.
Yeah.
Or not control, but we don't try to
dictate and tell you what to do.
once I'm 18.
Yeah, we've had that conversation.
Yeah. Hearing that control from the other parent, it was kind of confusing at first. I was like, you're joking, right? You can't do that. I mean, I don't think you can.
No.
You can't force someone to join the military.
No. Especially if they're past 18.
You can't force someone to go to college.
No.
So
I think there is a lot of strict parents out there, though, who will hold that
guilt and grudge.
Yeah, to their kids and expect them that they have to get a college education. And you know what? Some people want to, and that's great that they do. But if your plans don't include going to college, or, at least at the beginning, like why do you think like a parent would want, well, no, no, I don't want to pick that brain. Why do you think a parent would want to control that for
like the future?
The future of their kids? Is it because you want your kid to have that stability?
In their eyes, it's what they think is best.
You think it's more of a them thing?
It's definitely a
like,
them thing.
I want my kid to have a college education. I want to say that my kid graduated college.
Especially that if you are very if you're popular,
well known.
If you're well known, when like your parents are well known and your family is well known, and you don't go to college, in their eyes, it's probably the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Because
it's more of a them problem.
Yeah, because they're like, they want to seem like, oh, my kids are out doing these great things. They want to look like great parents. And they set you off to college and all this.
But a college education does not guarantee a career.
Or a brain.
Or happiness.
Oh, yeah.
Because
there's a lot of unhappy people in college.
And there's a lot of unhappy people who have graduated college and just have
They did it just to do it.
Yeah.
And please their parents.
Yeah. And now they're left unhappy with their choice in either what they studied or in general, their college path.
Or if their major or what they did college for doesn't work out with a career, they're stuck scrambling to find a job.
Yeah. So that's unfortunate that there are some parents out there who are so strict that they do try to control the adult,
Yeah.
the future kid. Because yeah, you guys will always be our kids, but when
We're
you're
also our own people.
yeah, when you're 18, you're at that point at 18, you're a grown ass adult who needs to be responsible for yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you will have your own job, you will pay your own rent,
Yeah.
you will
It's
live.
been very clear and with understandable like situations like I will not be coming back and begging you for money to help with anything. Like that's you a kid shouldn't have to do that. If you are being sent out as an adult,
You are now an adult. You're
you're an
responsible for
adult.
yourself.
That is a you problem.
That is. So, as a parent,
Obviously, wait, there's circumstances if your house got burned down, if it's something out of your control
and temporary.
and temporary, it is completely different than I don't want to work or oh I did this and I got fired. If it's you completely just being lazy or you slacking off and I did this and I was being lazy at work and I got fired. If it's something like I said,
Yeah, like if
if it's
you
not in your
weren't
control,
responsible with yourself.
exactly.
So
Because you're an adult.
a parent expecting their adult child to, you know, go to college or career choice. Like, let's say I was a lawyer and expected you to
Carry on the legacy.
carry on the legacy, be a lawyer also. Like, no.
Or at least
Oh my
do
gosh, we
something.
just saw the movie. What was the movie called? Vacation? No. Paradise? Ticket to Paradise. There you
Very
go.
nice.
Where she got her college degree as a lawyer. She was about to start, but that wasn't what made her happy, and she decided
To change your mind.
to change her mind.
That's another thing. It's always fine to change your mind, especially when it comes to like majors. Obviously, you're putting in a lot of money and you're putting in
A
like
time to
yeah.
start over.
But if you're not enjoying it, why get a paper that says you did it and you're not happy?
Yeah.
And you paid all that money to just not be happy.
Yeah.
You'd rather if you decide to change your mind in college or like
As
already
an
in
adult.
college.
Yeah.
That's fine. Obviously, you have the circumstance of money, but why would you want to waste money on something you're not happy with?
Yeah. I mean, what good is it one sheet of paper if it doesn't mean, like, if it doesn't have any value to you, it's just
Yeah.
a sheet of paper.
Obviously, I don't know how diplomas work or like a
Yeah, some people expect you to have a diploma, which is okay, at least you have it. But if it's not a diploma in a career that you want to follow, then it's like if you don't have.
well, I meant that paper can burn.
Well,
Maybe. I don't know.
You can always get another copy from the college.
Oh. Okay. Well, my point was
But yeah, I get what you mean.
If it's gone, you went through all that for nothing. There's no paper. So, rather do something that you'll be happy with in the future and not be like, oh, dang, I wish I did that.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
yeah, so a strict parent or controlling parent trying to control your time, even as an adult, because we end up growing up, like how much say should a parent have once you're an adult? Like your college, your career. What about like marriage and babies? Like there's some parents who
oh goodness,
like really expect for you to get married at a certain age.
Yeah.
They try to,
or even the people go as far as
arrange marriages. That's done by the parents.
Yeah.
Imagine
That's so
that.
weird to me.
Imagine that. Imagine as an adult, you're an adult,
who you're gonna marry,
being told you have to marry this person. Like that would be miserable. Most of the time, those people never even have met before.
Yeah, which is
a whole nother. Yeah, that's a whole nother.
Yeah.
Debate, conversation, topic, episode. But Yeah, there's some strict parents out there that expect for you to marry in like the church, and they expect for you to have babies.
Especially, especially, it doesn't always, it's not always arranged, but it's usually forced, or like your parent sees somebody who has the same religious beliefs. They're
Yeah, this
in their
in
eyes,
their eyes, like this boy from my church.
but in their eyes, oh, he is so handsome. But then you look at him and he's
Mhm.
ugly.
Personal taste.
Personal taste. So there's a
You're the one
limit.
that has to be married to them, not their
Exactly.
parents.
If the parent really wants to be married to a kid and thinks, oh, he's all handsome and all that, that's a problem. That is a problem.
Yeah, we won't get into that one. But okay, so I said marriage, but I also just thought, what about like weddings? There's some parents who expect you to have a huge lavish wedding, or
Or certain decor pieces.
a wedding in a, their religion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say the
Like in a
child,
church.
yeah, like in a church, when like the parent and the children no longer have the same religion.
Yeah.
Like that definitely falls under controlling parents.
Yeah. Um.
I I think that's one of the things that kind of deters me from a whole wedding. Like, I would want it to be exactly how I want it, and I wouldn't want anybody else to have any opinions in my choices.
Well, okay.
Would I get any decisions in your wedding?
You can give your opinions. I'm fine with opinions.
Yeah, that's. But
Which,
okay, would you imagine if I told you exactly how you had to have your wedding?
I mean,
There's some parents out there
heard,
that
I've
yeah,
heard.
there's horror stories out there of people who've done
It's the fact that you said horror stories and what I'm about to say.
Oh gosh.
So my partner's mom has. I think she gives a little more than her opinion. Maybe, I can't tell, but it comes off as very. You're going to have this at the wedding. You're going to.
Whether y'all like it or not.
Yeah.
So that's controlling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Because y'all have like a whole vibe, right?
Yeah. I mean, we've planned it kind of briefly. It's more
so the
ideas.
Pinterest wedding is already done.
The Pinterest wedding is done. I have a lot of time on my hands. Leave me alone. So it's already like, oh, there's a few ideas thrown out, and then like we will either talk about it in front of her or something like that. She'll be like, oh, you're gonna have this. See, another difficult part is she wants to pitch in with paying for the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she thinks she has a say. I'm not too sure.
I guess at that point when you guys...
It's very difficult to decide.
No, when you are at that time and place of the wedding, then that's where you can decide if you need somebody to help pay for that or not. So if you don't need any help to pay for it, then you can say, no, thank you. We've got this. You know, your invitation will be in the mail. Or if you did need help and they're offering that help, then you might need opinion, but it still should not be a, well, I'm paying for it, so it's going to be this way. Because it's not her wedding, it's y'all's wedding.
And obviously we'll have that conversation if it needs to happen in the future. Yeah, the conversation doesn't need to happen now.
No, there's still plenty of time before then.
Yeah.
But the idea of it, definitely, I can see where it's, that's not how it should be.
It's a little difficult to decide, like, it's a little difficult to decipher how much say she would have.
So
when she could possibly be paying for it. Or that's another thing. Do people I wonder if people have bought something for a wedding and then they're gonna make the people have it at the wedding.
Well, that's the thing. A wedding should only be the choices of the two.
Yeah. The two partners.
Mm-hmm. It should not have anything to do with anybody else's opinions or likes and tastes, because the wedding is not. I mean, and I've heard this before. A wedding is about the family and should be for the family.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not to me, but I've heard somebody say that before. But in my opinion,
It's not, though.
I think that's one of the things that kind of deterred us from having, because we got married
Yeah.
in the courthouse. We went to go get our paper, and there was a judge available, and so we were like, okay, let's go for it. Let's have him get us married.
Yeah.
That was on a Friday. We had already done some pre-wedding planning ideas.
Yeah. I think you had a wedding book.
Yeah, I had a whole binder.
Yeah, you did. You had a whole planning book. I remember snooping through it.
Thanks. So that weekend, I distinctly remember it was that same weekend. We got married Friday.
Yeah.
That weekend, we decided, you know what? We're married. We don't need to have a wedding. Like, that's not, like...
Yeah, I think a wedding, sometimes it's fun and it's for the two people.
Oh, absolutely.
But sometimes people genuinely have them to make the family happy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is to celebrate two families and blah, blah, blah.
Which I get.
Yeah.
But if it's not what the bride and groom want,
That's different.
then no thank you.
Yeah. If they want to celebrate it together and, like, have the whole celebration, yeah, and want to use it in that way, yeah.
Yeah, so
it can be nice.
if we were, decide to renew our vows with a wedding, maybe that'll happen one day. But other than that, I think I'll just take, a second honeymoon.
A honeymoon.
A second honeymoon, and, well, it will be our first, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you had you had two young kids.
Yeah, so we didn't go off.
There wasn't time away you could necessarily get for
Our own honeymoon.
for a honeymoon. And
Yeah,
money was also a thing.
Yeah, but one day.
One day. When all the kids are out of the house.
No.
That'll be your honeymoon.
Oh, definitely. That'd be like the permanent honeymoon.
You know what you should have gotten, though? A baby moon. Have you heard of those?
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. Babies. Forcing babies.
Well, baby moon's probably a little bit easier when it's the first baby and there's no other.
Completely. It's the easiest one.
Yeah, because there's no kids to be running after.
Exactly. Wait, baby moons are after you give birth, right?
No, prior. Like your big pregos before the baby comes.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm. So speaking of marriage and babies, so relationship choices. Do you think a parent for a minor should have any say in their relationship?
Yes, to a certain extent.
How do you?
So, giving your opinions.
Okay.
Asking to involve yourself.
Okay, not just involving themselves without, like, getting that...
Approval, basically.
Not that...
Oh.
Consent.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need your approval, but I would appreciate your consent.
Yeah. To a certain limit. Like, if you're... Okay. Do you want to say your experience?
Well, this story does take a little longer in this episode, so we're going to go ahead and do a two-parter. Come back next Wednesday to hear the second half of the What Would She Think podcast episode, Strict Parents, Part 2. We appreciate all the love and support, so continue looking for us on all our social medias under What Would She Think podcast. Check us out on our YouTube, where you can also hear this podcast. And keep on sending those emails over. We absolutely love how you guys have been sharing your stories on how you relate to our podcast. Send us some more questions of what topics you guys would like for us to cover. And if you want to share your story but be anonymous, go ahead and let us know in that email as well. Check us out on all our social medias under What Would She Think podcast. And don't forget that membership at buymeacoffee.com/twistofviolet that is helping fund this podcast. Don't miss the next part of this episode next Wednesday on Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast.